Well, good morning, Taneia. I feel like this is going to be a topic that so many people will resonate with and running three businesses and how do you do it? Let's talk about you. Let's talk about you. You're in lovely Wangaratta, and I'd love to hear your journey or what comes to light around running three businesses because most people struggle with one, and you've got three. Let's talk about how you do it, love.
Yeah,
Welcome.
well, thank you for having me, Marie. My name's Taneia. I own a beauty salon in Wangaratta called Gloss Makeup and Beauty Studio. I've had that for just over 9 years now. And in the last year, year and a half, I've opened two more businesses in the
Mhm.
same kind of like industry, but different. So one is a DIY lash extension business, so e-commerce,
Mhm.
and the other one is a 24/7 spray tanning studio, which is the newest business. So I've only had that since March this year.
Yep. Fantastic. And how do you manage all that? Because I think, like I said, some people have one and there's not enough hours in the day. But let's face it, there's 24 hours a day, 160 68 hours in a week. And I think this particular conversation around time and how we
Mhm.
manage things is it often comes back from, maybe sitting down, not doing something else that we should. How do you manage these three businesses? Like, even how often do you go into them? Let's start there. Like, the
Yeah.
first business you opened, you've had that 9 years.
Yeah, so I've had the salon 9 years, and I'll also preface I do have a 1 and a 2-year-old as well. So
Oh,
my time is my time is limited. So I am really, really good at prioritizing now. So with my salon, I work in there 8 hours a week. I
yep.
don't do clients though. So ever since having kids 2 to 3 years ago, I stopped doing clients.
Hmm.
My time in there is spent working on the business and on the team and working
Yeah.
with the team. So that's on a Tuesday and a Friday morning. And this is something I learned through your growth coaches was my default diary. So
Mm.
every Tuesday, it's the exact same format. Every Friday is the exact same format. So all of my high value activities are placed into those days and they're done because the time
Yeah.
is allocated for them. And if I don't happen to get it done, it moves to another time. But
Yeah.
I'm really mindful to get it done in that time because if I don't use that time, I have to take it from another business or time from my kids. Um, so yeah,
Can
it's
we
really
just
about yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we go back a step? And when you
Hmm.
had the kids, and it's amazing to add that into the mix as well. Let's just say a 1 and a 2-year-old. But when you had the kids, I know a lot of people say, oh, when I come back from mat leave, like you often reduce your hours as you go. Did you reduce your hours and then just say, I'm not going back on the floor? And what was the repercussion or what happened there with your team? Because I think that's often even with or without having a baby or children in your life, some people want to do that and they don't even know how to do that.
Yeah, so from having my son, my firstborn, I never actually went back doing clients because when he was 4 months old, I was then pregnant again. So I knew if I was to
Yeah.
go back, my time would have been limited anyway. So I focused on building up my team. I focused on policies and procedures and that around like having a manager as well in the salon. Prior to having kids, I was in there 6 days a week, 10-hour days. And I could not drop days. Like it was nearly impossible. So having a baby was the one thing that made me actually be able to drop clients.
It made you stop by the sounds of it.
It honestly did, yeah. But then I'm really grateful for working so hard then to now have the be able to be at home with my kids most of the time.
Yeah. And did your team take that on? Like, okay. And did your clients?
Team, absolutely, they did. They were incredible about it. They still are, like knowing that I'm
Mm.
at home with little kids, they're like will solve issues prior to reaching out to me, which is incredible. Clients, there was a little bit of pushback from them,
Yeah.
because to be completely honest, I was oblivious to what it was like to be a mum for the first time. I was telling clients, "Oh, I'll be back in 6 to 10 weeks." I haven't been back. Sorry to those clients that were waiting. But
I
I
think that's
feel. I'd
That's going to happen.
educated my team enough and tried to move as many of my clients over. So when I went on maternity leave, I had 3 team members and I now have 6.
Wow, such growth.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And when you say like almost like self-sorted out, is there like a system there? Like because I know you hear it time and time again. It's like it could be as simple as I don't know, the photocopier doesn't work or something's broken and then they ring you. So it can be small things. How did you mitigate that so they didn't come to you with those questions and they self-source it and sort it out themselves?
To be honest, Maria, I think it was purely from having a baby where they're like, oh, we didn't want to bother you. Um, so from a couple of years ago when I had a newborn, they would often say, oh, we don't worry Tan because like she's at home, she's just had a baby, like we'll work it out. And I think it's just grown from there.
Mm.
Um, and the managers that I've had in there have been incredible where they're like, oh no, we can deal with this. Like if the light globe's blown, we can just go buy another light globe and put it
Yeah.
in. Like I don't need to
Mm.
know about those things. So to be honest, there wasn't exactly a process to it. It was
Mm.
more they would just use their initiative, which is great.
Yeah, that's so good, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it's sometimes difficult to find the team that would do that. And did you have a leader in place? Like, did you put someone more in a seniority type position or not?
I did. I did have a manager. Yes. Yeah. I still do.
Yeah, awesome. That's good. So having that business and then evolving into your lash business,
Yeah.
explain how that came up, or even why did you decide to have more businesses and put more on your plate, having 2 kids and already a business? Because I think most people would be thinking, why? And yeah, why do you do it? And how did it evolve into the second one?
So how it come about was I'm a mum. I like to look good
Mhm.
like a lot of other people. I own a lash salon. Prior to having kids, I had lash extensions all the time. Then once having kids, I don't have the time to go in there for an hour every 1 to 2 weeks and do something that's not overly productive. So it was a pain point of my own where I can apply lashes at home now in 4 minutes, have them on for the time I want them on, and take them back off again. I don't need them on all the time. So having regular lash extensions isn't necessary anymore.
Mm.
Um, to be completely transparent and honest, when I started it, I thought it would just be like this little side hustle where I would have some products, I'd pack a couple of orders a day, post them off, and that would be it. Yeah, it's been a learning curve.
Mhm.
But in a great way, like it's really nice learning a whole new industry. The business could be so much more and so much bigger once I do have the time and capacity for it. But my main priority is always a salon because I have a team. Like I have a team of
Yes.
6 that I'm responsible for, so it is always at the top of my priority list.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, very
Yeah.
good. And I think any business, whether it's a salon or a product brand that you launch, anything, it's going to have its problems. It's going to have things that like walls that come up, isn't it? But it's about hitting that curve in the road or the bend in the road, I say, and then just keep going.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do a lot of people ask you, like you know everything? Because I feel like there's got to be a bit of that. Like there's so many things that can happen through your business journey, but yeah, do a lot of people have that conversation with you?
I feel like a lot of people do say, I don't know how you do it all. How do you know what you're doing? I have no idea what I'm doing. And to be honest, I don't think anyone does. Like, you just wing it. Like, I'm not afraid to try something and fail or like have to start over again. I'm not afraid to learn something new. And in the last few years, I've been not afraid to step out of my comfort zone. I was always
Yeah.
a very comfort zone person. And now I'm like, oh, yep, I'll do a podcast. Oh, I'll stand up in front of people and talk, whereas I previously wouldn't do that. But I think
Yeah.
that's what it is. I don't know any of this. I don't know anything about e-commerce. I don't know anything about manufacturing. I'm
Mm,
learning along the way. So we
mm,
all we all start at the same point is how I see it. Like you can see
mm,
someone on chapter 12, but I'm only on maybe chapter 2. Like, and so I don't
mm,
compare myself with them. I just know they were on chapter 2
mm.
once as well.
Well, the thing, yeah, that's right. And that's such a lovely way to look at it because you think about when you first started business to today, and then even in 10 years, like you evolve as a person. And I was just chatting with a group of girls earlier, and, I remember the first day I went on social media and they said, "Oh, it's already recording." And I'm like, "What do you mean? Oh, we're live." "Oh, no." And then to look back at those videos and then you look to today, and I think I can still get better, but there's always evolvement that happens and new things that we need to look at.
Oh
Mm,
yeah, and just like the personal growth from it as well.
mm,
Like when I first started my beauty salon, I started it purely so that I could do the treatments that I enjoyed doing and I wanted to do. And then that's evolved to now my role in there is nothing to do with the actual treatments at all. It's all like empowering the team, motivating team, and just running of the business. And
mm,
that's had a huge amount of like professional and personal growth from that.
definitely. And if someone was wanting to look into, I think it's nice to promote you as well here,
Yeah.
the eyelashes, and because
hmm
I've got one, I think it's fantastic. How do we get in contact with you for that particular brand?
Yes, so the brand's called Effect Beauty Co. And we're on Instagram under Effect Beauty Co. or on Facebook or just via email, which is on all of our platforms as well.
Yeah, that's great because it'd be separate to
Yeah.
the business and it's no different like to your salon, but no different to the next business, which is around
Yep.
your spray tan. So let's
Yeah.
talk about the third business and maybe some things that what went well and what went wrong. Like because I think there's always going to be something when you think a third business, you go, oh, this is a good idea, and then there's never anything goes perfect.
No, nothing goes perfectly by any means. Especially with the way this business is structured, a lot of ducks had to line up to be able to open at the certain time you wanted to open. And being a 24-hour like
Oh wow, yep.
yeah, so it's a business where I am not actually in the business.
Hmm.
So stuff can pop up at any day or hour. That one, the tan atelier come about from another pain point of my own, where my beauty salon does spray tanning, but we only do late night once a week on a
Hmm.
Wednesday. Sometimes I need a tan at 9 o'clock on a Thursday once my kids are bathed and in bed. Um, so this kind of filled that gap for me. And the way I see it is if I feel like I need it, there's going to be other people that need it. But yeah, that business works in a very different kind of structure to my other two businesses. And
Mhm.
to be honest, it has its challenges, but it's probably the easiest of the two because I don't have as many hiccups with it.
It must be similar to like, is it similar to like a laundromat because it's 24 hours? Like, does it let you know, or do you have like an app that says if something's broken or someone can't get in or like that type of scenario?
Yeah, so it's all
Yeah.
ran off an app and like Bluetooth booking,
Mm,
like access with the Bluetooth.
mm.
And when I first started, I was spending maybe 10, 15 minutes in there each day, just making sure it was clean and tidy and
Run.
restocked.
Yeah.
And yeah. And then as it's evolved and picked up business and that, I now have a cleaner that goes in there like 3 to 4 times a week and does all of that for me, which is excellent. I just have at the start of every month have 2 hours of time scheduled to create all the content and post it for the month, and then that's done, which is
Mm.
great.
It's amazing how the tanning world evolved. I remember having solariums way back in the day, and you'd have to have someone almost like sitting there going, ticking people off, and they'd have a card, and then it went to, electronic, or you'd keep cards. And that process, it just fizzled out because it was banned to think that spray tannings come not only from standing in a booth and someone spraying you,
hmm
to be able to just do it yourself and not
Completely
even
automated.
yeah, so completely automated and to the point where you actually don't even need to show up in a business to the point where you need full-time teams. So I think it's a very good model, let's just say.
Yeah, it's excellent. But one thing I've struggled with it is coming from a beauty therapy background is you don't build that rapport and like face-to-face customer relationships with people.
Mhm.
I will just get a phone call or a text message off someone if they have questions, and it's a lot. I have to work a lot harder to build the relationship with like clients as well. So that's where there's a bit more strategy in the social media is like trying to build a personality and like customer like
Yeah.
experience, I guess. Yeah. When
So
there's
you
no one
put
there to do it.
Yeah, it's a bit like a personalized touch through your social platform to be able to get
Yep.
that connection. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And when we think about like I often comment to you and we have a bit of a laugh about it, but your social media is awesome. And like I love
Thanks.
watching you on TikTok and like you've got so many platforms. How do you manage that? Because someone listening would think to even do one, it can be a challenge, but how do you manage so many platforms around your socials?
So, as I just mentioned previously, with the tan shop, 2 hours at the start of the month, that time is scheduled in and I get it done. Like,
Yeah.
I make sure, give me 2 hours and I'll get it done. I'll make sure I have it done because that's all I've got. Then the lash business is actually outsourced, um, because I feel like it's something that needs to be really quite consistent. And I'm not overly great with strategy and don't know a lot about e-commerce. I can market to like people in my area, services
Yeah.
and that, but to market a product to the nation is, yeah, something that I'll learn. And the salon is I schedule time in my default diary every week to schedule the content and create it as well.
Mm.
Then my personal stuff is literally that all started by me trying to get comfortable with talking in front of a camera and that. So I'm like, well, I can have a bit of fun with this and use it as a way to grow my confidence in front of a camera and that as well. So it's more of just a fun thing. Like it's a bit of just fashion, a little bit of business, a little bit of lifestyle.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do it well. Like you do it really
Thank
well.
you.
Yeah. And I think if someone was to follow you on that platform, where would they look out for you? Like if it was on TikTok, is it all under the same name or?
Yeah, it's just my personal TikTok, I'm pretty sure is just Taneia Hill. And then Effect has one as well. So Effect Beauty Co. Don't have one for the salon though.
Okay. No, it's all good. So you being an amazing businesswoman, running three businesses, you've also got two children. I'm sure you've got a house to run, a partner, and the list goes on. How do you fit health, wellness, family, self-care, like all of that in for you to be able to grow in yourself and do self-development? Like you can say default diary, but oh, hello.
Meant to be napping, but daylight savings has thrown them
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, aren't you gorgeous? What's your name?
What's your name? Nash.
Hello, Nash. So Nash has come to join us to talk about how mummy does self-care. Let's talk about how do you do it and what do you do?
First of all, it's really important to me, so I definitely prioritize it. Um, I'll sacrifice a sleep in to get up and do my workout, to do my
Mm.
meditation, to yeah. I usually get up around 4:45, 5 o'clock each morning. Yeah, okay. Do you want to go watch TV? Yeah, good boy. Sorry.
It's all right. Manage it all,
Oh, that's
love,
how
but you've got
you
to.
play with your trucks. Um, so yeah, I get up, I have my outfit ready the night before. I'm lucky enough to have a gym at home, so I can, if my husband's gone to work early, I can still watch the kids on their camera and pop back in if they do happen to wake up. But usually I can get a workout in, a meditation in, and thank you, buddy. And be showered and dressed before my kids get up. And like this morning, they didn't wake till 8:30. I'd already done half of my to-do list.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's very important to me, like my wellness and that I can't work at a high level if I'm not looking after myself. My husband's amazing. He helps with like if I have appointments for like kinesiology or any of those things, he helps works his schedule around mine as well, which
Oh, that's
is
good.
really great. Like you need to work as a team, especially if you have kids.
It shouldn't always be up to mum to do it. It's got to be a
Yeah,
shared thing. Well, it's just you go into it as a shared job, so it's got to be shared out. Yeah.
yeah,
It's interesting.
absolutely.
You can sometimes hear husbands at a party and they say, I've got to babysit next week. And you think, babysit for what? Like they're your children. Like,
Yeah, that one's a
so
funny one, isn't it?
it is a funny one. So that's good. And what would you do? Like it sounds like you exercise. It sounds like you've got a bit of a morning routine and you put it into a diary and you stick to that because time is the essence for you. What do
hmm
you do for maybe, and you could call that self-care, but maybe for yourself? Like do you ever have a massage or is
Yep.
is there anything that you do otherwise?
So I have every once a month, and on a Sunday it's booked for the entire year. A massage, 90-minute massage. I love them.
Yeah.
I go for like solo works. I walk, sorry. I see a kinesiologist once a month. I go to chiropractor once a month. So I have all these scheduled for weeks in advance, if not the year. So then they're in my
Good.
diary, and I know I work my life around them. Like,
Mm. It's
yeah.
interesting, isn't it? Like some people struggle to fit certain things in their week and their life, and even think about like what does holidays look like for, the following year. And Jay and I, we always book them a year in advance and know what we're doing right through to the January the following year. And I think you need to, because how do you map everything else? And I have a little bit of you in me as well, and I make sure that I book things on repeat. I think the challenge with a lot of people is they don't book the time, and making that time is that's how you've been able to grow from one business to two to three, is really map your time out within an inch of its life.
Oh, yeah. Like my Google Calendar is blocked out with everything I need.
Mm,
And I feel like that also stops procrastination because I know I don't have all the time to get
mm.
it done. Like I don't have an
Yeah,
entire day sitting there blank. I'm like, I have this time, so I have to get it done.
yeah, for sure. Do you ever feel like not doing it?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Mm,
Um, how I get around that? Look, sometimes I do just not do it. And other times I just think I'm like, what is my future self going to thank me for? Sitting here and scrolling on social media or for getting this task done. Often when I start that little task, it snowballs and you end up getting it all done anyway. Like I'll often
mm.
just say, just work on it for 10 minutes. And then by the time 10 minutes is over, you've already on such a roll, you just keep going.
Yeah, it's so good. You're an absolute champion, not only as a business owner, but a mum, and having the boys there today. Do you have a boy and a girl, or two
I have a
boys?
boy and a girl, yeah.
Boy and a girl, yeah.
My daughter's name is Noah, so it confuses
Oh,
a few people.
Noah.
They think I have two boys.
Well, I hadn't seen Noah. I've only seen Nash. So
Yeah, she's
it was
asleep.
that's all right. Lovely to have Nash a part of today as well, and sharing your story. If you're looking for Taneia, check out her Instagram. I think we'll be able to find you there with all the links.
Yeah.
If you're loving watching our podcast, like us, follow us, and we can bring you more content just like this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marie.
Pleasure.